Dorset Road Safety has started putting up these signs to the effect that if you are caught, there is no excuse. However, I believe that it's perfectly possible to exceed the speed limit accidentally. But would you be able to prove it? I've had a 4-year-long debacle with Dorset Police, which has involved me making 5 court appearances, their camera witness making an untrue statement under oath, a senior police officer accusing me of lying, the archaic court system making inexplicable errors, an IPCC investigation that found in my favour but left me out of pocket, adding to my overall costs amounting to hundreds of pounds. And what was the original offence? I was clocked exceeding the 30-mile-an-hour speed limit for just over 2.5 seconds. In August 2007, I drove from Berkshire to Swanage in Dorset to do some work. A week later, a notice of intended prosecution dropped through my door. I was told that I had exceeded the speed limit. Purely out of interest, I wanted to see the evidence. A pair of photographs arrived. A before and after photo gave me the impression that the car in front was actually going faster than me, yet has a number of bicycles on the back, not the sort of driver you'd expect to be tearing down Dorset's roads at great speed. This cast real doubt in my mind, so I elected to go to court to point out these anomalies. I heard nothing for months, until the DVLA asked for my licence to dock points. I had been fined £200 in my absence for not turning up at court. But hold on, how could I? I had never been informed of the hearing. Apparently, important letters such as this are sent in the ordinary post and not sent recorded delivery. So my first court appearance was to make a statutory declaration at East Berkshire Magistrates' Court, where, after taking a morning off work, the original conviction was thrown out. I heard nothing for 6 months, and I hoped that as this minor infringement had cost a lot of time and money already, that the case would be dropped. But I was wrong. 6 months later, they got their act together and set a date for the hearing in Poole. During this hearing, for the first time, I had more details. It was a camera van with a handheld camera. They showed me colour pictures on the day in question. They'd even put up a temporary sign warning of the camera. Of course, I lost my case, but while in the area, I decided to investigate further, now that I had this new evidence. I drove to the scene of the offence. The previous run-up to the 30 limit is 40. There are 40-mile-an-hour repeater signs. In a gentle Z bend, there were 30 signs either side of the road. Just around a right-hand bend to the right was the parked camera van. The road in which I was filmed was straight, exceptionally wide, and had green fields with no turnings or anything on my side of the road. No parked cars anywhere, just houses set well back on the right-hand side. I was clocked doing 39, exactly the speed I would expect to be doing if I was aware of a camera, and I thought I was still in a 40 limit. The incredible thing is that while I was there, a double-decker bus pulled up right next to the 30 sign, obscuring it totally from view. The sign opposite was also half obscured by a van and foliage. Now I believe that I probably was doing 39 miles an hour, but had strayed into a 30 zone where the camera was waiting in entrapment. Armed with this knowledge, I tried to get the video evidence for an appeal. Finally, for £88, I got a VHS tape that contained about 5 seconds of footage. Reading the number of video frames, this reveals that I was doing 39 miles an hour maximum for just 2.75 seconds. Immediately, I then nearly stopped to turn off to the right. I have no recollection of the speeding incident whatsoever, and so it's interesting to take a look at the video footage. On the day in question, it's quite obvious that there were no parked cars, no pedestrians, not even any cars coming in the opposite direction. In fact, it was just a wide open road on a sunny day. I tried repeatedly to get the complete video evidence of my infringement. I wanted to see how fast the cars in front of me were going. I also wanted to see whether there was a bus hard on my tail. However much I asked, the police would not give in. They said it was down to data protection. A surprise example of Bournemouth Crown Court's failing administration was when I received a letter naming me as a witness in a drugs trial. It even named the accused in a major breach of confidentiality, which of course I've covered over. I duly drove 80 miles to attend by 9:30, taking the morning off work once again. I walked in, announced my name, and the usher looked bemused. The date had been changed without informing me. This they admitted, and I was compensated with £60 petrol money. Now, with the revised date, I called first to make sure that I was still listed. I attended with my compelling evidence. If there is reasonable doubt, then one should be exonerated. The old adage, innocent until proven guilty, didn't apply. During the court hearing, I was astounded to hear the camera operator say that there are 30-mile-an-hour repeater signs down Ulwell Road. Not only are there not 30-mile-an-hour repeater signs down Ulwell Road, but the Department of Transport actually prohibits their use. In spite of this, and what to me was perfectly reasonable doubt, my appeal was turned down. The Crown Prosecution Service prosecutor complimented me afterwards on my case and said, "These things are very difficult, you know." I think I know what he means by that. The case should have been thrown out. I decided to write to the Chief Constable of Dorset Police to tell him what the camera operator had said in court and to ask what sort of training their civilian operators receive. He passed this on to his head of safety education and enforcement, who wrote to me saying, "My investigations show that there is no truth in any of your allegations." Strong words, but naive. As this was said in a Crown court, it was simple to prove that I was indeed telling the truth, so I paid to have the recordings transcribed. An IPCC investigation found that the head of Cs was wrong to say that there was no truth in what I had said. In other words, he was calling me a liar. So naturally I then asked for the money that I had forked out for the transcript to be reimbursed. Time and again the police refused to refund my monies, and I had no alternative but to take them to the small claims court. The judge decided that there was no case to answer because the police hadn't actually requested the transcript, and therefore he threw it out on the basis that there was no breach of contract. However, they asked to see the transcript, and indeed, without having seen the transcript, how would the IPCC have known that I was indeed telling the truth and that it was wrong to call me a liar? I got my MP involved, and he wrote to the Chief Constable. Yet another minion replied, with a load of waffle about the speeding conviction and nothing about the lies at all, which was now the issue. I was amazed that my MP accepted that, and I wrote to my MP again. Inexplicably, he replied to me this time by thanking me for my further inquiry about my parking fine. The police say that the camera van is deployed in Ulwell Road in response to residents complaining about speeding motorists. Well, I contacted half a dozen of those residents, and not one of them said that they had an issue with speeding. Even if they did, what benefit would they gain by people like me being told 1 week after the event that I'd broken the speed limit? Surely it would be better to have a policeman by the side of the road slowing people down. 4 years. All this for accidentally going too fast for 2.75 seconds. If that isn't Big Brother, then I don't know what is. By the way, look up Ulwell Road on Google Maps and look at the camera images, and you will see the camera van parked on a patch of greenery. It was there when the Google camera passed by, no doubt generating more and more money.